Dodges don't need check engine lights. This one does. Goes the limp on you, you know? Hate that when that happens.
Shut up. Stop that.
Pretty brittle. Oh. Hey, so today we are going to take a look at Richard's Omni that we put together. We had a couple of things that weren't 100% when we drove it around, and one of those things was a less than grabby clutch. But why is it slipping? It shouldn't be slipping. I think the tension on the clutch cable may be too tight. There might be preload, and we want to get rid of that. So I'm going to bring the car down here. It's been sitting for, I don't know, a month or two. We'll bring it down here. The other thing I had to do was finish putting the wiring together. I made it run, but I never hung the logic module. And I didn't do that because somebody was in there hacking up some wires, so converting it from, you know, an L body to a P body basically. So we're going to finish undoing that. I think the only wire, if I recall correctly, the only thing I need to fix is the check engine light. Dodges don't need check engine lights. This one does. So we'll hook that back up, solder it real nice, put the logic module back in place. It's a stock logic module, and get the car ready. Now, if the clutch isn't corrected today, we did order a new clutch, so we're going to swap out the clutch and pressure plate and the flywheel, and that'll be corrected. But I won't be pulling the transmission today unless it slips. And I have enough time. We also have to correct the shifter cables. One of the cables failed, so when you go to push forward on the cable, it just goes limp on you. You know, hate that when that happens. So that's not allowing us to put it in any forward speeds easily, unless you know how to do the old flickaroo, flick it into gear. But anyway, so let's go get his car and bring it down. I got to move a couple other cars out of the way. These dang Shelby GLHSs are just, oh, there's another one. This one's pretty decent. I don't know. There's another one over there. I got his car down here, but I can't talk because that compressor won't shut up. It's squeaking. I know. I'm probably gonna just go tighten the belts, but I got something better. I got this belt treatment. See, it says right there, belt treatment. I'm gonna go apply this. The problem is I'm on the wrong side of the compressor.
Shut up. Shut up. Stop that.
Hear the RPM pickup on that thing?
We're going to give her a couple of squirts so we know who's boss. Yeah, like that?
Alright, as I mentioned, the clutch might be slipping a little bit. So what we're going to do is take a look at one of the reasons or one of the possibilities. And you can see the clutch arm down there. And see if I can get the light to stay still. So we have a clutch arm, and then a rod that goes out to the actual throw out bearing and the fork. And you can see it's splined. So you can basically index this arm. Alright, that's all fine and dandy. The clutch is adjustable at the pedal just to take up the cable slack, but I don't think we should have zero movement in here. It's not super tight, but anyway, that cable, I think I should be able to have a little play. Like the throw out bearing should be off of the fingers on the pressure plate, and it doesn't feel like it is. It feels like it's riding it, and I don't think it's supposed to be like that. If it were, the bearing would be engaged all the time, and how long is that going to last? So what I'm thinking about doing is disconnecting the cable and reclocking this or re-indexing this clutch arm. Hey, the compressor shut off. So I'm going to re-index this clutch arm on the spline there and see if that makes a difference. If it doesn't make a difference, then we certainly can't dyno the car with this clutch in it. If it does grab, we'll continue the other work anyway and get it ready and hopefully more drivable, and hopefully get it to the dyno in the next week or two. I have a couple of dyno guys I'm trying to hook up with. Dyno time around here seems to be kind of hard. I don't know why. It's weird because we're off season. Is that when everybody's tuning their cars? Nobody's racing. I don't know. I'm not a drag racer, so I don't know what's going on. All right, a couple of things. First of all, I made a Ritchie radiator guard 2000. Guard his radiator. You know, because these are actually mega rare. But I went ahead and I marked the spline. The spine where we're at now and what it is in relation to the transmission. I also went out and checked another car, and you definitely can move the lever on an L body, and the cable slack is then taken up by hand. This thing is tight as a drum. All right, I got the cable end retainer off. This just slides in here and underneath the arm. Keeps the cable pinned in there. So the marks on the transmission to the shaft right now don't line up, as you can see. It's the trying to do this without blocking it. It's this set here. It doesn't line up right now because I have the jack under the arm, and actually on the other cars that I looked at, that's about where that arm was, almost horizontal. So we're gonna try to reach over here. I have two arms, and I'm gonna ease off the jack now. And if those two marks go past the other way, so if the shaft's going to rotate clockwise and that rear mark goes to, we'll call that 12 o'clock on the transmission. So if it goes past 12 o'clock, then we know we got more play in there than we had before. Well, you know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. And today's the day I have to be wrong. That spline is keyed, and if we zoom in, we can see it right there. So that is preventing the arm from sliding on. So I don't know if people are changing the cable to a slightly longer cable, or what, or maybe you can respline the fork on the other end in the transmission. I can actually show you one here in a second to see what was going on. I don't know, still doesn't feel right. We'll figure it out and address it eventually, one way or another. Like I said, it's going to come out anyway. But anyway, it only goes on one way. There is a flat spot here in the arm right there. Boo hoo hoo. Oh well. Let's take a look at the other transmission so we can see what's going on, how this works, in case you don't know. It's not the, I don't think this is the same chain. This is a 520, similar transmission, a little greasier. So clutch arm, lift up on the clutch arm. This one's a little sticky, pushes out the throw-out bearing, pushes on the forks of the pressure plate. So what the theory was, You know, I always had these crackpot theories, and this is one of them, I suppose. But if the cable wasn't letting this arm all the way down, they would have had the fingers pushed in on the clutch a little bit, or even just preloaded enough for the clutch to slip at a lower than desired point. So that was my theory, that we would just move this one notch, rotate it, that would relax that throwout bearing and take any preload off of the fingers on the clutch, and it would be good. But that didn't work out that way today. We'll take a look at the cable length, and maybe I'll grab another cable and see if there's a difference. I think there is a difference. I think the L-body cables are shorter. All right, Brian.
All right, so we got a Daytona cable here,
Yes.
closer to me.
Yes, and the body
The
looks...
body looks shorter. It's like a tiny bit shorter right
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
The Daytona. But the cable is a good inch longer.
A bit.
100% longer.
100%.
We're 100% sure that it's longer.
Yes, not 100% longer.
About an inch.
About an inch.
About an inch. That's good. Maybe that's what we need.
I bet you an inch makes all the difference to Richard.
I bet it does.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
All right, got the cable routed. Put the clutch arm back on. I didn't put the E-clip on yet. But we have the longer cable in. And these are a lot of fun. Which end we got to do first? The pedal end?
I do the car end because I can do this end by hand. Pairwise first.
Okay. Well, here's the retainer.
Yep, need that. Is there a little rubber thing down there?
It's still on the arm, I think.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to go back in the car
And hold the cable.
and put that
down.
stupid cable in there again. All right, we have a Daytona cable in there. It was longer. We had to replace the adjust. Where's the broken adjuster, Brian?
Right there.
So this adjuster was broken. The cable kept falling out of it, but now it feels right. It feels better, right?
It feels good.
Has the appropriate amount of slack, so there's not a lot of preload. The pedal feels good. Feels too easy, so the pressure plate does feel pretty weak. But we're gonna start it up here and see how much grab I get, because it was grabbing real high before. Electricity, Brian? Is it there? Oh yeah. Ooh, she's an easy pedal. I mean, it's right in the middle. We'll see how it feels. Still gotta do clutch cables. Oh, she fired right up. All right, I'm in probably third gear. Oh yeah. It's in the middle now. Let's see if it'll stall it. Yeah. All right, well, I think it's better. We should probably take it for a ride. See if it's any different. Yeah.
It was a little funny before, wasn't it?
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, so the clutch now is grabbing about halfway. Was grabbing at the top before. I can't, none of these mirrors are in the right spot. Oh, that actually works. All right, now the trick on this car is getting it into first gear with the, because they didn't fix the shift cables yet. So we gotta push this down. I gotta be two hands. Hang on. Let's balance the phone. I think that's first. Oh yeah, it's way better. Doesn't mean it's not gonna slip, but it's definitely. Oh, she's got a little bit of go. Needs alignment. So I think I'm gonna just try to get in the third gear early, because that's where all the torque's gonna be on the clutch, and see if it slips. Let's go down to the side road. Alright, well there it goes. Alright, that's third right there. Now I'm in third. No slip, no slip. Got no speedometer. Oh, we had no slip. Little funny alignment. Let's try it. try to get in the fourth without crashing. There we go. I can tell you it's not slipping. I can't tell you if it's making enough power to make it slip. So I'm gonna lightly put it on, well, I'm gonna have to do it when I turn around. Just lay into the power a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of hover the clutch pedal just to kind of take some preload and see what the threshold is for slip is. So under power. I mean, you got to touch it and it slips, but that's how my car is. It doesn't take a lot to make it slip, but it does take something. So I'm not going to say it's fixed, but it is much better. Clutch kick it. It's pretty good. It's not slipping. It hasn't slipped yet. That third gear pull I just did, some power came on in the top end and it didn't slip. So I'm gonna put the phone down, stop recording. It's a little bit of a handful to drive. The alignment's not perfect, and then we'll bring it back in the shop and take a look at these shift cables, because that's the next problem that it has. Okay, so I'm back from the test drive, and things are looking good. Didn't slip once. So we are still going to put a new clutch in it, new flywheel and everything, brand new stuff. It's coming, because we had the K-member out of the car anyway. It'll be pretty easy to take the transmission out, taking the K-member out so it can be cleaned and painted, because this car, you know, needs a complete restoration. Yeah, the longer cable seems to have cured the problem. Again, I was already wrong about being able to re-index that, because it's keyed, being able to re-index that arm. Now I'm going to have to take this garbage out of here, unfortunately, because I got to get down to the shifter cables, and the ends on the shifter are not in great condition either. But I want to take these cables out first, and we do have several sets. There might even be a set here actually hanging on the wall. I don't. Oh yeah, this one's actually bad too. You see how this has this wrap, this flat wound around the cable? Just get this off the wall. We're gonna put this on the floor. So when you're jamming on the shifter, this cable wants to, you know, push or pull. But you can see this armor is what keeps the wire rope, which is what the cable really is, rigid. This is flat wound sheathing on the wire rope. I think there's a cable in there. Unless I'm wrong, and the whole thing is made of that. In any case, you can see how this has a bend in it. If you were to put my knee down here, if you were shoving this, it's going to kink out. And now you have that rubbery feeling in the shifter, and that cable's failed. You could probably straighten it out, but my guess is you'll, and that's what's happened to this car. I watched them go whoop. So I think once they bend, they're kind of done. Because this car is going somewhere, I'm not going to try to straighten it and you know, try to fix it. All right, I got the one of the cables out, and I just straightened it. Actually, it had a pretty decent kink in it right here. And to be honest, you can't even tell I took the kink out of it. It was pretty kicked over pretty bad, and that would just be, you know, instead of the shifter stopping, it would kink, and then you would feel that rubbery feel, cause a misshift too. Still going to replace the cable. They have it routed kind of funny, but while I was under here, part of the reason why we wanted to take the K-member out, to paint it, clean it up, you know, as part of the restoration, there was also some work that had been done on this K-member, some gusseting added, and this plate, I believe, was added in. I saw the CV clamp hanging here. This is a brand new CV joint, CV axle, half shaft, and you can see that the half shaft was rubbing on this K-member, walking backwards a little bit, and that took that off. So that sucks because that was brand new. Now we'll end up taking it all out anyway and fixing it. It's not ruined yet, but yeah, this gusset here, just that's no good. It's no good. Yeah, so we'll have to address that. We're also going to move the rear mount. It's a shock on this car, but on other cars it's a piece of cast alloy with rubber bushings in the end. They call it a dog bone. This is a strut, but yeah, this is where the dog bone would be in here, but with this transmission it's moved over. So a lot of times what you do is you just zip those welds off, which is what we're going to do because we're going to have it out. Slide that over here, get rid of this booger here, put that over there in its place, and that'll be retrofitted for this trans. So that's that. The silicone is used to patch some of the cables coming through here. So I don't know if we're going to be able to reuse those holes or not, to get the cable routing right. We'll see. And the other problem with this car was the 525 rod shifter. This was hammered down. This would normally be domed inside the car, but it's a completely different shifter than all the other K-base cars take. So they got in here and just body worked her on down. It's ugly. It may work, but I think the bigger problem I have with it is it's welded in, and we want to be able to move that shifter, I think, to an optimal location to fit the factory console on top. We want it to look factory, and this has nothing to do with emissions, so it still has 87 emissions systems on it, and controls and computer and everything, so it should pass smog. We're only dealing with the transmission here. That's a little different. And initially, yeah, we were going to put a 525 back in it, and then I found that. I said, ooh, if we put a 525 in there, man, we're gonna waste some time trying to, you know, get that body worked back into place, which would have been fine, but this is a better transmission anyway, and it doesn't affect the emissions. I believe it also has the same final drive ratio. It's just a stronger transmission, smoother shifting transmission, so long as the cables aren't garbage. So the rod shifted transmissions suck. All right, I'll try to get these cables out, and we'll see how much progress I make tonight. All right, got Richard's cables out, and this is the other cable I've shown before. It's a little longer. So yeah, they made longer cables for different cars, and I think a lot of people like to use P-body cables in the L-body, and that might be what these are. I don't know, but the way they're routed, they're kind of curvy, kinked a little bit in some places, and that might be the way we have to do it. We'll see when I go find another set of cables or a couple sets of cables. All right, I went up to the parts room and grabbed a few sets of cables. I left a few behind because they have different ends. They are from different shifter cars for different transmissions. Anyway, I do have a couple of options here, but one of the things I wanted to note is the problem with all of these. Whatever material they use to make these bushings, I'm going to pinch it down. I bet you it's going to break because it's already brittle. Oh, that's pretty impressive. I didn't think it was going to break that easy. So here's another one. It's like, oh, don't ruin it. You'll be able to save it, right? Why? Because as soon as you hit a gear with this, look at that. That's impressively terrible. So we're going to be able to replace these cables with the best two I can find, and I'm going to have to find some bushings. I don't have any bushings, so I'm going to have to order those pronto. So I guess that's going to probably be it for tonight. Makes good power, Clutch wasn't slipping, so we did achieve something tonight, and we should be able to get it, dyno ready within a week or so. Getting into the dyno is hard, and then Christmas is coming up, so it's going to be pretty close. So I think that's good progress for today, though. Like I said, we fixed the slipping clutch, I think, without taking the clutch out. Again, we are going to replace it. I have new cables that aren't bent, and I got to get bushings. Putting the cables in without the bushings, it is no point. Actually, a bad bushing can cause you to bend the cable, because what happens is you don't get it gated right. So you're like, say you're in between first and second, and you go to shove the lever forward, that cable's going to go kink, and then you're done for. So I think that's good enough for today. This is Richard's blue GLHS Clone, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool little car. I did drive it, in earlier footage, and I don't know if I commented. First gear, she's got a little bit of beans. She scoots a little bit. It'll be better if it was turned up, but this got to pass emissions, so inspection, and it should, because it's stock, except for the transmission. All right, well, that's enough for today. Make sure, I haven't done this yet. I haven't done what I'm about to do. I haven't reminded people to subscribe. I get a lot of views, and probably 90% of the viewers are not subscribers, and this video might not have been too tantalizing or exciting for you. I'm sorry. They're not all gems out of the box, let me tell you, especially when I'm acting alone. Really appreciate it if you click that button, man. We're close. We're trying to get to 1,000. We can't do anything till we hit 1,000 subscriptions, and we're close. We're probably within 100 or so today. What happens when you hit 1,000 subscriptions? You get to monetize. You get to put your big boy pants on and make money. And what that means is the money that's going to be rolling in after 1,000 subscribers, probably a good $7 or so a month. Let me tell you, that'd be really cool if we can start climbing a little bit and get some more momentum, because I have a lot of ideas, and I would love to just keep banging stuff out. I don't know if you looked around the property. Our plate's pretty well full, and we're not afraid to throw more on it in the interest of content. So it'd be really cool if we can get whatever humps are headed our way, and yeah, make this channel something for fun. All right, I'm Ben, and thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button right now. You better go do it right now.